Perth, our man in Perth, who's going to bring us up to date with all the action. He's going to introduce us to a special guest. Darren Mcaullay, thanks again for getting up so early, and good morning to you.
Indeed a pleasure, Graham. Thank you. Good morning, panel. And what a wonderful day it was, of course, for Bob and Sandra Peters, claiming their third Fruit and Veg Stakes, having won the race a couple of years ago with Old Nick, and now back-to-back with Old Comrade, first as a 3-year-old, now as a 4-year-old, and joins an elite group of horses. In fact, only 2 others that have won the race on 2 occasions in the past 26 years, and they, of course, were the great family of man. And Summer Bow, who's gone on, of course, won nearly $1.5 million in Singapore since. And really, it was down to a master stroke training performance by a very special guest this morning on Racing Retro, Graham.
Certainly is, and you might care to introduce us to our special guest.
Okay, well, of course, Lindsey Smith was to join us after the Railway Stakes a couple of weeks ago, but Lindsey, thankfully your horses know the post better than you know where the studios of Channel 9 are.
Yeah, I wouldn't make a very good taxi driver, will I, Darren? But yeah, at least I made it this time.
Congratulations, outstanding performance. Graham touched upon it earlier, the fact that this horse was having his 5th start in 4 weeks. And you must have put a very solid foundation into Old Comrade when he came back from Victoria.
Yeah, well, when he was in Victoria, he was over there with Cliff Brown. He was there for a few months, so he had a lot of preparation there. When he come here, he got a bit of a cold when he come home. We was able to step him straight into our sort of regime, and thankfully he came through it pretty good.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the concluding stages, I think, of the Fruit and Veg Stakes yesterday. Outstanding performance, wonderful tactical ride too by Paul Harvey. In fact, here they are at the start.
Jumped away quickly, so did Royal Retrieve, and Finito Tribula broke well, and missed precisely as firing across for Dan Miller soon after the start from Dexian. Old Comrade's out wide, but Harvey's going to press forward on him. Face Your Fears and then Shot of Thunder. Finito dropped back, opening twist got through on his inside, then Papillon followed by Mr. Tanzania, and back last is Corporate Bruce as they travel along by the 1350 in the back, and Miller wasting no time with the filly. Missed Precisely, booted her nicely clear. In the back, Missed Precisely, 2 lengths over the mare Tribula. Royal Retrieve up running third, 1.5 to Dexian. Then Special Jester back on the inside. From Face Your Fears, 1 to Gaulia Girl, and over on the rail opening twist, Old Comrade was taken hold of by Harvey. He slotted him back in the field. He's out 3 deep, 1,000 metres to go from Papillon, the stable maiden. Finito strung up the rail from Shot of Thunder, Mr. Tanzania, and Corporate Bruce is back last of all in the Fruit and Veg Stakes as they go past the 900 mark, and Missed Precisely trying to do it all the way. Leads the way from Tribula, getting fired up against Sansom. She's off the fence with the grey mare. Special Jester went to third. Royal Retriever's about to hook out 3 deep, going around them 4 and 5 wide. Face Your Fears. Dexian is next in that opening twist. In behind them, Gaulia Girl, Old Comrade and Papillon together. Finito under a bit of pressure on the fence. Shot of Thunder, Mr. Tanzania a long way back, and last is Corporate Bruce, but it's Missed Precisely as they race around the home corner on the Fruit and Veg Stakes. 1.5 on Tribula, third Special Jester. Royal Retrievers over on the outside. Old Comrade back in the field, starts his run. He's coming with Dexian further back. Shot of Thunder, Missed Precisely the leader, but Old Comrade quickly gathered her in. Old Comrade swept past Missed Precisely. He is a dynamic 4-year-old, and he completes a rare double, wins it back to back. Old Comrade trotted home from Missed Precisely. Shot of Thunder flew for third. Royal Retrieve, Special Jester close up, and then Dexian Finito followed by Tribula.
Old Comrade, yep, another emphatic win, and its second Group 1 success there in Perth. And the owner, of course, is Bob Peters, and Hilton caught up with Bob along with jockey Paul Harvey.
What were you thinking when you had the cover?
I was pretty happy, probably not as happy as I was with him in running in the Railway. But as I said, he's got a little bit of ticker. He was a little bit anxious in the barriers, and you know, he might have known he wasn't 100%, but you know, something was niggling him a bit, I think.
When you moved on him on the home turn with 400 metres to go, how did he feel?
He felt good. Yeah, he felt good. He's got a bit of heart, and you know, what more can you say? I'm sure there's something wrong with the horse, and he's carried his problem and won the race well. 2 Group 1s in the space of a fortnight, and he hit the line so hard. Can he run 2 miles? I don't know about 2 miles. I think the Australian Cup was the thought from Bob, and I'm sure he'll run 2,000 metres. The thing with the horse, he gives himself every chance. He's very versatile. You can pretty much ride him anywhere and he'll settle. You know, he's never been stirred up, and he settles wherever you have him. So he'll give himself every chance to run the 2,000 metres.
It'd be nice to keep the ride in the Australian Cup.
Yeah, yep. You know, you got to take one race at a time and weigh up your options. But you know, I don't get too many chances in those races, so I guess I'll be going along for the ride.
Bob, I was talking to you this time a fortnight ago. How does this one feel?
Oh, this is great. This is the third time we've won this race, and it's probably this and the Railway Stakes, I think, are the two best races here, so it's good.
What did you think of the ride?
I told Paul that as long as he had cover, it didn't matter where he was. We hadn't ever tried the horse up near the lead and facing the breeze, but I said to him, as long as you've got cover, just be wherever he is and see what happens.
The way he went to the line, what's he going to do now? He's racing so well.
Yeah, he might get a bit further, mightn't he?
Will you press on to the Perth Cup? It's a whole lot further.
I don't know about that. We'll have to think about that one.
Sure you will. Okay, Hilton Donaldson interviewing Bob Peters. Lindsay, after the race, a bit of a scare there. Paul Harvey jumped off and thought the horse was sore.
Yeah, he dismounted around the 1600 metre mark. I didn't know what was actually happening. I ran up there and I didn't know whether the horse had been galloped on or not, but when I got there he appeared to be fine. So Paul just thought when he hit the line that he put in a couple of short ones, but the vet check revealed about an hour later that he had mild lameness on the near side, but I couldn't find anything wrong with the horse this morning.
In the run, your thoughts as they were approaching the home turn, you thought he was definitely going to be in the finish?
I'll come to the 700, I thought the horse would win. He has a good let-down speed. The dangers I thought were behind him, which they would have had to run a very good section or get past him. They haven't been able to do it in the past, so once they were behind him, the only one I was really worried about was the lightweight in front.
Lindsay, you travelled 3 wide for most of the journey. Was that a pre-race plan, or is that just something that worked out okay in the end?
Oh, it's worked out okay in the end. I think Paul's our best jockey here. I thought it was a good move to go forward and then grab hold around the 1500, and he that set it up so someone had to go around him and give him cover. So once he had cover, I don't think he cared he was 3 deep, as long as he had cover.
Lindsay, what sort of plans you got with the horse now? Like Hilton Donaldson was trying to plot a program towards a Perth Cup for him, but what sort of trip do you think this horse will be running?
Oh no, he won't be going to the Perth Cup. He'll go to the Spelling Paddock. He'll have maybe 4 to 5 weeks off, and he'll be set to tackle the Australian Cup.
Interesting situation that, isn't it? Because Northerly is the king of WA racing, that is for sure, but is Old Comrade the heir apparent? And I just wonder, with that in mind, Lindsay, you're throwing out the big challenge now, because that's the plan for Northerly as well. 2 contrasting styles of horse. One's a real street fighter, likes to get into a muscle contest. Your horse is one of those that can sit up and really kick. He's got that superb turn of foot, always will run you a good 34 split and do it on the bridle. Yeah, well, as we spoke off air, I think that this horse is equipped to sort of be able to beat a horse like Northerly in style of racing, where he can sort of relax behind a horse like Northerly, who's more of a dogfight type of horse, where this horse is, he relaxes. He's got a good let-down speed for 50 metres, and he travels at a good level, so he's equipped to be able to beat the horse of Northerly's standard.
Lindsay, does he prefer the hard ground? I mean, you will get it in the autumn in Melbourne. You would think he would be a risk at Easter time in Sydney, where you can get some soft tracks. Is it essential that he gets firm ground?
Oh yeah, Cliff Brown's stick on it, so yeah, he can't go a yard in the wet ground.
We'll come back and have a chat to Lindsay about his background, because it's very interesting. But right now we'll go and hear from the beaten jockeys, and starting off firstly with Danny Miller. Lindsay, when you come over to the Eastern States with Old Comrade, will Old Comrade go back with Cliff Brown, or will you come over with him?
Hopefully that I'll be able to stay with the horse. That's up to Bob and Sandra Peters, who own the horse, but you know, I've like to think that I deserve a crack at the horse.
Lindsay, Darren Beeman here. How are you, mate? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your association with the harness racing, it seems to be a bit of a trend with the WA trainers over there, with Fred Kersley. We know his record, and yourself. What's the connection there with the harness?
A couple of good friends of mine, a few years ago, we teamed up together. Justin Warwick, Fred Kersley, and myself, and we started and I shared the same stables, and we went to our local gym there for a while because I was putting on a little bit of weight, and so was Justin, and we went to the gym, and while we were there we learned about diets and anaerobic levels of fitness, aerobic levels of fitness, and we put that into the horses, and I think Justin trained 100 winners that year, and then Justin went to Melbourne, and his foreman Jared Humphreys moved into the stable, and the system took care of Jared. I think Jared's leading trainer last year, and at the moment he's leading this year.
It's a completely alternate approach to horse training. You've probably swung away from all the traditional ways of preparing horses. This is something that's quite lateral.
Yeah, it's all athletes are just based on muscle, so that's what it's based around, and a lot of people think it's unconventional, but you can't do unconventional things doing conventional things.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, Lindsay's no stranger to big races, being associated with some very good horses in the past, and had a most unique association with the Henry Davis stable too, fellas, back when they were landing plunges left, right and centre all over the nation, and there was one in particular, one which you'll all remember.
Yeah, Tappy, that was getting closer.
I'll never forget it, the buzz around Canterbury Racecourse that day. People were running around saying, they've put £1 million on this.
Getting Closer.
Getting Closer was the horse's name. It was a restricted race. I think it was the first race on the program, or very early in the day. I can't remember the betting
I think it was something like 33s into around about 7 to 4. Is there something along those lines, Lindsay?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a bit higher than that, because Mark paid me averages of 20 to 1, so I think you'll find that they've got a little bit better than that.
No, I think it's opened at, I think there was closer to 100s bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Now we know where Lindsay got his bankroll to start his training career.
I knocked that off a long time ago.
Yeah, the collect was reported to have been $1 million, and it was 1979, Lindsay, wasn't it?
It's about 81, I think.
81.
Yeah.
$1 million 20 years ago.
And Malcolm Johnson with it.
Malcolm Johnson, and Mal was riding at the peak of his form, just pinged into a posse and was never ever going to get beaten. It was cantering coming around the turn. Yeah.
You don't see that too often.
Speaking of big money, gentlemen, there has been some big offers made for the horse that ran 5th in the race yesterday. The Guineas winner Royal Retrieve, which is owned by Big Jeffrey Green from Green Park Stud, offers from the Bart Cummings stable. Dato Tanchin Nam, as I understand, had made an overture, and then all of a sudden a representative from Lindsay Park, their racing manager Mark Pilkington, was in town yesterday. He did have a runner in a later race, Noble Chic, but he and Jeff Green were in deep consultation. Whether negotiations have proceeded beyond that point, there was also overnight, in fact on Friday, as I understand, a new player came into the equation, and so there are offers coming left, right and centre for Royal Retrieve, who looks more than likely to be sold to other interests after his effort yesterday.
Well, boys, we'll move on with the co-features yesterday at Ascot. G. Raconteur, do you remember him? He came to Sydney in the early 50s. I think he won at Villiers. King of Australia. Perth, isn't it?
As Lindsay, hey Lindsay, have you got one?
No.
No.
Actually, he's known as the Black Prince.
What's yours, Macca?
Whatever you want to call him.
I've heard a few
names, actually. Depends on who you're talking to, Ted.
Okay, moving right along.
Now, Lindsay, from your point of view, how's the state of racing in Western Australia?
Oh, it's fantastic, the way things are for myself at the moment. But with Northerly coming home a couple of weeks ago, it was quite good. It was just a bit unfortunate that with the planes, the way that was set up. But I think it was a good move to bring the 2 races forward. I think once everyone gets the hang of it next year and the planes get back up and running, I think it's a good positive thing. It was, or showed it was, because otherwise Northerly wouldn't have started in the Railway Stakes. It would have been later on. So I think it was a good move, and hopefully next year we get horses from the East Coast to come over, because it's the same colour money over here.
And also too, just a hoof note to the meetings so far that have been conducted. Speaking with officials at the WATC yesterday, very happy with the crowd. It looked a bit light early on, but that's becoming something of a pattern. They don't tend to get out there till the middle part of a meeting these days and stay on late. But the crowd yesterday was up considerably on the same meeting, the Fruit and Veg Stakes meeting last year, and the Railway Stakes crowd also, naturally enough, was well up on previous years, and no doubt buoyed by Northerly's appearance that particular day. But the Turf Club pretty happy with their revamped carnival, but as Lindsay has mentioned, would have been great to have some interstate representation, and of course some interstate jockeys as well riding over here against the West Aussies.
All right, good on you, Darren. Yep, and I'm sure that'll happen next year. Lindsay, thanks once again for taking time out to join us on the show. Again, congratulations, our heartiest congratulations, in fact, over the last 2 weeks. I'm glad you were able to find Channel 9 this morning for us.
Yeah, no worries, boys. Anytime.
Okay, well done, mate. And Darren, thank you for your time. You've got a quiet day?
No, actually we've got a very busy program coming up this afternoon from Pinjarra with 9 races, and I think it's capacity fields all day, so we're going to have our work well and truly cut out. There's a host of races on here this week, as you would expect at carnival time, but a very picturesque track down in the Murray districts. Good. Looking forward to being down there.
Okay. You have a good day, and thanks again for joining us so early in the morning. There he is, Darren Mcaullay. Okay, more of Old Comrade as we go to a break on Racing Retro.
Do-lang, do-lang, do